The Do This podcast is part of the Win, Make, Give podcast network. On today's episode, Bob Stewart and Chad Himes speak with John Garuti. John talks about his strategic use of social media, particularly YouTube and Facebook, to establish omnipresence and foster trust through genuine content, and by positioning his team as new construction experts. Discover how John stays ahead in this dynamic market by blending innovative strategies with traditional networking. We hope you enjoy this episode of the Do This podcast, presented by Brivity.
Hey, good morning, good afternoon. John Garuti, good afternoon to you, my friend, out in just outside of Fort Myers, Florida. That's what you just said, right?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. We have a guest, John Garuti, today. He sells real estate down in Babcock Ranch, which you just told me, John, was recently ranked as the fourth fastest growing master plan community or the fourth largest one in the United States. Is that right?
Yeah, something like, I forget what it ranked for, but yeah.
But it's a big master plan community. You guys are in a growing area, and it sounds like you've really positioned your business around new construction. So maybe we can dig into that in a little bit. But will you do me a favor, John, as we do every week? Can you introduce yourself to our audience so they kind of know who we're talking to? But we want you to do it instead of us reading one of your fun bio here.
Yeah, so John Garuti here. I live in a little town right now that's a growing town called Babcock Ranch, right outside Fort Myers. I've lived here since November of 2019. So yeah, this is going on my almost 7 years now. And I actually made the decision to get into real estate when I moved here. At the time, I was like looking for something to do. And when the garbage man delivered my cans, he said, "John, you're the 347th homeowner here." And I knew they were building about 20,000 homes in town. So I said, shit, maybe I should get into real estate. And yeah, the rest is kind of history here. Been doing great, just, focusing on this town, farming this town, doing resales, doing listings. Last year, out of 209 sides, about 184 were right here in town. And there's only 10,000 people living here, only about 5,000 finished homes now. So I've just really been growing with the town as it continues to grow year after year.
Wow. Say those numbers again from last year. You a town of 10,000 people, you guys did 190 sides. Is that what you said?
184 sides, and that was out of my team doing 209 total sides. So like we really farm this place pretty hard.
All right. So
that's
you
massive numbers. Yeah.
Yeah, you farm it hard. But one of the things that I noticed, because I can look inside your Brivity, and so I do often before you guys hop on these, you have a really diverse source of closings. Like one of the most diverse sets of sources on your closings that I've seen, and I look at databases all day long. Like,
tell us what you mean, Bob.
Well, a big chunk of, so I'm just looking at this year, John, a big chunk of your closings have come from new homes out of Babcock Ranch. Like, people coming to new homes, visiting you guys. But it's like after that, it's like, it's Facebook, it's sphere of influence, it's from your website, it's from your personal Instagram, it's YouTube, it's open houses, it's referrals from agents, it's sphere referrals. It's really deep and really wide. So, you said you guys are farming that town. You're clearly doing it from a lot of different angles. So can we start there of just the concept of like farming and what you guys are doing to really, I don't know, become, it appears from these sources that you're really visible out there in a lot of places to anybody in town. How have you done that? I guess let's start there.
Well, it all started, I built my whole career with a YouTube channel.
Okay.
Yeah, when I moved here, nobody was doing social media at all about Babcock Ranch. The town gets a lot of publicity because it's like the first solar powered town in America. And if you really start digging, we're built inland, we're built for sustainability. I don't know if you remember Hurricane Ian that blew through here in 2022. It devastated Southwest Florida, but like in here, the lights never even went off. So that like brought a lot of notoriety about how to build a town around like the weather and global climate change and all that stuff. But yeah, I started a YouTube channel. That was like really my big first source of business. Like it was 2020. That was my like first full year in business, and I sold 42 homes by myself that year. And it all started with the YouTube channel, and from there I started a Facebook group called Moving to Babcock Ranch. And then I was just, the town was growing. I was getting a lot of referrals. So that year, like a third of my business came out of YouTube, a third came out of Facebook group. And then the other third was just getting referrals from all those people I started working with. And, we've kept those two channels up. The thing you were referring to, New Homes Babcock Ranch, that's actually a very custom website that I have built and grown over the years. I don't know if you want to bring it up for people, but yeah, that website gets a lot of leads. That thing ranks organically very well, and we're also running, some Google ads to that as well.
It's moving to BabcockRanch.com.
No, that website is BabcockRanchNewHomes.com.
Babcock Ranch New Homes. What? Okay.
I want to ask a question here while Bob's thinking about how to phrase this, because Bob gave us all these sources of your business, and then you said, would you believe, John, and I'm just asking this for the audience's sake, I believe I know the answer. Would you believe that even if they came to you from Facebook, they're also probably with your YouTube channel, they're probably also getting the emails and the mailers and the other things, that everybody's probably, it's just which source they clicked on for the final step to move into the system?
They're definitely seeing everything we're doing, whether it's, my agent's personal Instagram accounts or the Facebook group or the YouTube or the website or, just getting referred from all the other people in town. I hear that all the time. They're like, I saw your Google business page, and then I saw your YouTube, and then I found your Facebook group, and so on and so on. So all those things combined, like, give me this omnipresence effect. And honestly, today, I don't know which one is like really converting people, but I know they're all working together to convert those leads and nurture them.
And I want the audience to hear that, because I don't want you to sit here and say, oh, I have to do a YouTube channel because that's what John said, or, oh, I have to. They're everywhere, folks. And what John's doing an excellent job of is that marketing at multi-levels, right? It's the mailers, it's the online, it's the this, it's the that. And he's just driving them all into that funnel. And at the end of the year, Bob's going to look at it and say, yep, you had this percentage from here, this percentage from here. Yet John knows, I don't care. The job is to feed them all into the funnel. Over years, I might realize YouTube outperforms Facebook group. I should spend more time here. That's going to take some time to figure out. Yet it's just throw them in the funnel, folks.
John, you have 14 agents this year that have produced, that they either have a pending or have deals closed already. Do you enlist them? Do you ask them to participate in these channels that you guys are covering? Are they in the Facebook group interacting with people that might ask questions? Are they, being asked to help create content for the YouTube channel? And if so, how do you enlist them, and how do you get them bought in on helping kind of create this?
Well, the YouTube channel, one of my agents, Greg, mainly runs it now, but we still involve agents on the team because I think it's good for everybody to see us as a team and see different faces as well, because people gravitate to different people for many reasons. And then like the Facebook group, when it's kind of just a known thing on the team. Like if you're out at some event in town, like shoot a quick reel and just post it in the Facebook group, little things like that. And then most of my team are doing their own Instagram channels. One agent on my team, Laura, she is just like the Instagram queen of Babcock Ranch now. So she is pulling in all her own leads, and she sold like 30 homes already this year just from her own Instagram account.
John,
that's Laura Rodriguez. I see she has 19 pendings right now.
Yeah, she is crushing Instagram at a really high level. And my other agents, though, they're getting business from Instagram too, and their personal Facebook accounts, and then we're doing all the networking stuff too. Like I'm always telling people, go. Like our town is so cool because there's always tons of events going on. There's always live music on Friday nights and food trucks, as an example. And then, there's people on my team that are involved with the local school and school events. So there's so many opportunities to plug into the town and get to meet people.
Go ahead,
Wow.
Chad.
I want to go back a little. Not everybody's going to have the opportunity John had, which is move into a community when he's the 352nd homeowner or whatever the trash guy told you, knowing it's growing into this master plan community and saying, hey, I'm going to be the guy as people are coming in. And then, by the time this master plan community is finished, John's Godzilla in there, right? It's like you don't know. Every other home, John was involved in the relationship somehow. So not everyone can copy that, John. Yet you in 2019 got into the business. And here we are in 26, only 7 years later, maybe 6, depending when you joined. And you've got a team of people. And I think, Bob, you said it was 14 of them have actually done business this year, which means it's not just a team of a whole bunch of people and they're not pulling their weight. What do our audience members need to hear about? What did you do right? What would you have gone back and told yourself if you could do it again? What did you absolutely do wrong going from 0 to 60 in 2.8 seconds like a sports car?
Yeah. Probably the worst, I'd say my biggest failings was I didn't even have a CRM until I started a team at the end of 2022. And I lost a lot of business not being disciplined with like a CRM and following up with people. And this happened so many times. I remember just being in town and someone that I toured like 6 months ago, I'd see them in town and they're like, oh, hey, John, I just bought a house here. And I'd be like, mother. But then, over time, it got me realizing, shit, that was my fault because I didn't follow back up with those people. And I kid you not, I probably lost over $150,000 just from not having like a CRM and following up with people those first few years.
Okay, so hopefully if you're watching this, you have a CRM, you're here on the Brivity call, you've got the best CRM that's out there. Listen to what it's telling you to do because you might as well not have one if you're ignoring, all the things that Brivity is telling you to do, like follow up with these people. So that's something you did wrong. What's something you did really right that people can replicate other than I found a great community before it became huge and I moved in and dominated?
Yeah, I think just for me, I think just sticking to my lane, right? Just being in here and being active. And I think everybody can farm a small community. Or I think my message to a lot of people is like, you don't need some gigantic area to get going in real estate. Like you can really focus on probably around 1,000, 2,000 homes and, really farm and get plugged in to like get your business going. And then from there, like you can figure out how to get bigger and how to expand beyond those areas. But yeah, you don't need to be in like, I'm from New York City. If I was still in New York City and I was going to do real estate, I wouldn't be doing New York City. I'd be doing like the Upper East Side where my parents used to live, something like that. And I think that people today, if you look at the real estate market, we know how tough it is, but I think people want experts. They want authority figures, right? They're not calling their second cousin who does, one transaction a year anymore, but they want to know who is the best person around. And I think when you're focused around a location and maybe even a niche, like I did with the new construction, like those people are going to gravitate towards you.
We've heard that a lot lately, haven't we, Bob? Like the last 3 or 4 calls I think they've had, there was the seniors, right? They've had their niche we've been talking about. Bob, I don't know if you want to go somewhere specific, but I'd love to hear when John talks about farming, what that actually means and where Brivity plays.
No, yeah, I thought that was, Chad, my brain was headed in that direction too. Like, you've got the Facebook group, moving to Babcock Ranch, which I just looked up. By the way, there's 10,000 people in that Facebook group. Like, we don't need 1 million people in a group. Like you have a very targeted group of people that either have moved to Babcock Ranch already or are considering moving there. So you've got that. You've got the YouTube video, which is kind of this. So let's call those, 2 of the major kind of online presences that you guys are using to farm and be omnipresent. Offline, like in real life, what are some of the farming tactics you guys are using, John? Is it direct mail? Are you guys knocking on doors? Are you, really going hard when you have an open house in a community? Like, what are some of the things you guys do offline that you would consider farming?
Yeah, we do a lot of open houses now. I think the big thing is just the networking and getting to know your neighbors, right? And getting involved. Like Greg on my team, he is like the master networker. But every time I talk to him, like Wednesday night, he's at the cornhole league. He's coaching his son's baseball team. On Saturday, he's like always golfing with people, stuff like that. Again, there's just so many opportunities to plug in. And I've kind of realized too, like networking is just like getting to know people and just become their friend. Like, don't even have the real estate conversation, but the more people you befriend, eventually they're going to ask you that real estate question too about, hey, how's the market? And that's your inroad. Like, oh, well, why are you asking me this question? What's going on? And so I
Do
think
you guys do you do direct mail? Do you send postcards
no,
into the neighborhood?
I used to do this really nice glossy magazine with this local provider that, when there was only like 1,000 houses in town, but then it just got way too expensive. So I
Okay.
quit doing that. But you know what? Everybody in town like knows my team and my brand. So
Is it
I've
just you have that many signs in the yards? I mean, do you rent a truck at Halloween time and decorate it and park it near the park for the kids to get candy? I mean, are you doing any of those other farmy things?
Yeah, we do. We will sponsor events that are put on by the town HOA. So like there was a big Halloween thing last year. We gave out free mini pumpkins to all the kids, and like that was a big thing. Everybody loved that. We couldn't even give those out fast enough. And yeah, there's a number of events we'll sponsor in town just to have our tent. We have a branded tent, so we'll put that up at those events, those sort of things. And a lot of people on my team have golf carts. Driving a golf cart around town is big because you can go anywhere in a golf cart, and they put their name and the team logos on their golf cart.
They're wrapping the golf cart. So we got the flames driving down the street. Bob, every time I hear golf, I think about that one agent.
Yeah.
And you already know who I'm talking about. I don't ever remember her name, but it was one of the first rain camps you and Ben did. Yeah. Where she said she went to every day and she just said, I'm a single, pair me up with people, and became the top realtor in her neighborhood because she just created relationships the way John just shared.
Yeah.
And that's John, I'm doing that with, I used to play a lot of pickleball. Like, I've gotten referrals from my pickleball crowd, and I joined, they just opened a new golf course, and I bought the cheapest condo in there just so I can start to meet people. Like, they're about to open all the amenities and the tiki bar and all that stuff. And I'm going to be going down there trying to meet everybody on the golf course because I want to get their referrals and their listings down the road. So
I want to shift gears for a minute away from like the farming idea into the concept of your niche, the new construction. Mm-hmm. Like, I correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you guys consider yourself like new construction experts there in Babcock Ranch, correct?
Yep. Yes.
What differentiates you, a real new construction expert in Babcock Ranch, from an agent that gets licensed tomorrow and decides I want to be a new construction expert in Babcock Ranch and I just put the hat on and now I am that? Like, what are the skills? What are the relationships? What are the things that you have built up that actually make you that expert in your niche? Can you talk about that for a minute?
Yeah. Well, I think when I moved here, there was really nothing else but to sell. So I dove into that, and I think I just made myself, what I did was I gave away all the information I was learning, and I would go meet the builder reps and I would sit down and talk to them. And a lot of it's just as you do deals, like you pick up things and that's more content that you can share with the audience. And as you do deals, the builder reps in town love us. Like we're getting those calls when a new lot came on market or something, spectacular is now available that people have been looking after. And so building the relationships with the builder reps is critical. And that happens through doing deals. And I tell you, when I first came on the scene, builder reps, I think in general, they don't pay much attention to you until you start bringing in business, because they have, they meet so many real estate agents. And I remember at one time, everybody knows probably of Lennar. Lennar, when I first got into the business, they this was like 2021, I think. They decided to do a rewards program. And the reason they did that is that, so like the first deal was 2%, and like all these agents got super pissed because there's only going to be 2. but then they would go get you to 3 and then 4, and then it would be 4 from there on out. And I remember Lennar telling me, the Lennar rep said, he's like, we're doing this because something like 90% of the agents that do deals with us do one deal and one deal only. So I find a lot of agents don't want to do new construction. A lot of them, like, they get nervous about the builder reps. And man, there was a time where when the market was so hot, I mean, I ate it. I was doing all these deals at 1%. I did like one year, I think it was 2022 when the market was scorching hot here. I did like 20 deals at like 1 to 1.5%. But you know what? I kept it up. And it all came back around because now I'm getting, like, in this market where it's tough, I'm getting 4 and 5 and 6% sometimes.
Right.
So
Without getting into the numbers, we don't want to talk percentage numbers, right? Yeah. Everybody ignore everything that John just talked about in there. He's not giving you an example, right? We don't want to get legalized here.
We're not colluding.
Right.
We're just telling us the facts.
John, here's what I'm so want to question on that. So many people, when they're buying a new home, they just drive right into the model, meet the builder rep, they're done. There's no you in that equation, because once they go in without you, they can't go back usually and get you and say, now I want to bring you in. How are you even generating the come see me and I'll take you before you just go in and check out this amazing community that you want to learn about, and now I've lost a potential client? It's all through the content I create. And with that content, I mean, I'm giving away buyer guides, and in those buyer guides, we talk about the town and how complex it is. And right now in my town, there's 24 neighborhoods. So how can you, coming from it as an outsider, really know this town inside and out? And the other big thing I'm always telling people is, like, I promise if you work with me, you're going to learn every single option that's available to you. But if you just walk in through that 1 or 2 builders and get hooked because their model homes are flashy and, like, you get excited and then get locked into a contract, well, then and this is what happens. People do that. They go see a builder, they buy a house, and then while they're waiting that 4 to 5 months for the house to get built, they keep coming back, keep seeing all these other neighborhoods and builders, and then wind up saying, oh man, I probably would have made a different decision. Yeah, well, if you work with me, you're not going to have to worry about that, because I'm going to take you to every builder. I'm not going to, I don't want to use the word steer, but, I always say, I don't care what builder you buy. I more care about us having a great relationship and me helping you make the right decision. That's what matters to me. How far along is the community? Is it built out? No, there's still probably 20 years left for this community to be built out. So I guess that answers my question of what are you going to do once they're built out? Does that really, like, do you see a change in your business, or do you just feel you'll have dominated the relationships that all the resales will be coming your way at that time? Yeah, I'll be flipping to majority. Right now I'm 75% buyer, 25% listing. In 20 years, it'll probably flip.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, you guys, Chad, we know YouTube's the number 2 search engine behind Google. Google happens to open both of them or own both of them, right? Yeah, I would guess that searching in Facebook is probably 3 or 4, right? Like, and when I go on Facebook and I look for Babcock Ranch, I find your Facebook group. When I go on YouTube and I look for Babcock Ranch, I find Living in Babcock Ranch, Florida, your guys' YouTube channel. Like, the content you guys have created, and really, in the timeline of the internet, it's not like, John, you were here when we had Active Rain back in 2006 creating blog posts. Like, this is the last 5 or 6 years of creating content to really, like, dominate your niche. It's really impressive. Like, it's really impressive. What content works the best for you guys? What are and maybe you'll say, there's no one thing, man. It's this just kind of it's everything, right? But, like, is there a type of content, John, that seems to do well, that leads to people reaching out and going, hey man, I want to talk about that? Or, well, it's, if you think about YouTube, it's like, what are people searching about? Like, they want to know how much it costs to live there. They want to know all the good, bad, and the ugly. So I think those style videos, like my greatest video of all time that has probably converted most leads, are like the 7 top reasons not to move here. And are they real reasons? Wait, video, John, are they real reasons, or they are
real?
It's
too clean, and
Yeah, well, it's funny because the master developer paints this facade that this is the most amazing place, and I agree, it is the most amazing place. But I also will tell you, it's not for everybody.
Okay.
So that video, I break down the real rejection reasons I get from people I've worked with. But then it's like I also flip it into a positive. Well, yeah, they're saying this, but here's my counter to that. That video actually got so much attention that the master developer called me up and asked me to take it down. And I was like, have you watched the video? I'm like, you're just reading the headline and you think it's some big negative thing. Have you watched the video? And he wouldn't say yes or no. But
Which
I
is
didn't
no.
take it down.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. Avoid moving to Babcock Ranch unless you can handle these 10 facts.
Yeah.
Right. This, by the way, the next most populars are like 6 unexpected costs of living in Babcock Ranch, the real prices of Babcock Ranch, the true cost to buy and live here, pros and cons of living in Babcock Ranch.
Negativity and fear sells, folks. That's why you see the headlines you see on your news apps and things going on. John's just been smart and taking advantage of that. Negative and fear, that's going to make people want to click and see the videos.
But conversely, what I talk about in those videos, the feedback I get is that they're like, could you give it so like straight and you're blunt about everything? Like, we trust you. We think you're genuine because you're not out there just selling the dog and pony show, right?
Yeah, you're not the builder's rep who's like, towing the company line about the facade that they've created for everybody, right? Like you're showing them behind the scenes and what it's really like. What's something that you guys do that Chad and I haven't talked about or brought up or mentioned that is simple, but most people overlook it?
Simple, but most people overlook it. I mean, I think
maybe you're going to drive home a point we've already talked about. You're like, we already talked about it. It's this. And
I think for every real estate agent these days, like your brand, you've got to grow a brand. If you're not working on that, then, and I tell this to the agents on my team too, like you can have your own brand still under the team umbrella.
Laura Rodriguez has one, right?
Exactly.
She was on Instagram crushing it.
Exactly. So I think every real estate agent should be creating content nowadays because people like to do research. Consumers like to do their own research before they go out and make that decision. And if they find you and you're giving them answers to the questions they have, like that starts the conversation, right? Like I've never cold called once in my life. I don't do circle prospecting. I don't call FSBOs and expireds because my content is, winning those people over and nurturing them for me. And the other great thing about creating content, like when those people are ready, they call me. Most of the calls, or when I get a YouTube lead, like those people are ready to go in like the next 2 weeks. They're not calling me saying, oh, I'm thinking about moving there in like 2 years, but they're watching my videos for 2 years. And then they say, hey, John, I've been watching you for a long time. I'm ready to come to town and buy a house. And it's like, it's just magic every time you hear that over the phone.
I want to clarify something, Bob, for our audience. John did not just say that he just sits around, folks, that he's not lead generating. He just said he's not cold calling. He's not calling FSBOs and things like that. He's creating content. That's his way of lead generating. He's networking his neighborhood. That's his way to lead generate. Yeah. He's got signs everywhere. That's his way to lead generate. Understand, you got to do all the work to build that before you get to a point of being able to say, I don't want to make the phone call. You have to, most likely, until you do the work that lets you be in John's position where he doesn't have to anymore.
I'm looking, you use the phone tracking system in Brivity. And so I'm back here looking, and like almost every single day, somebody calls you guys, whether it be from, just they're calling your office because they've seen you guys out in the community, or they're calling on, you guys are running Google local service ads. We're tracking those back here. But the people call from like you have your own dedicated line on your YouTube. They've called you this month from that. Like, yeah, I love that idea that, that person that goes on the internet and starts researching and becomes a buyer lead. Now we got to work them for that 12 to 18 months that they're researching, right, John? But what you're saying is, man, a lot of these leads that come to me on the Facebook page or the YouTube page, these are people that are way deep into that research phase, right? Yeah. They've been researching for 12 to 18 months when they raise their hand and go, okay, John, we're ready. And like you said, now they're They're 2
They've
weeks.
already
away
built the
from
trust with John because they've been doing the research.
Man, this is really impressive, bud. Like, you guys have built such a recognizable business in your market, and what great timing. What great timing. Why did you move to Babcock Ranch in the beginning when you weren't a real estate agent? You just decided that was a place you wanted to live?
The whole vision of what they were building here around solar powered, the sustainability, everything that's, everything we're ever going to need is going to be here probably within like the next 6 to 8 years. And I've just, it's been fun watching this place transforming. When I bought here, you had to really be bought into the vision because there was nothing here but dirt fields. But yeah, it's been awesome to watch this place grow up, and every year it gets better. There's like more and more stuff to do here every single year now, and it's opening more opportunities. Like now, I'm getting into like commercial leasing because now all the retail's starting to come up. I mean, I'm working on like restaurant leases. This one restaurant lease, if I get this through, it's like a $60,000 commission. So like, I'm taking advantage of everything I possibly can.
Get back to work, man. It sounds like you got a bunch of work to do, a bunch of relationships to go build in your community, and probably between you and your team, some content to create today to make sure everybody knows how awesome you guys are. John, thanks for joining us, man. We really appreciate it. I don't know, Chad. I feel like I should go find a new community to move into.
Yes, I'm going to find new construction community coming myself.
John Garuti, thanks for joining us, buddy. Have a great week. Bye, everybody. We'll see you next week.